like most people in Plymouth, I'd stood on Plymouth Hoe, I'd stood at various points around the Sound looking at Drake's Island thinking I'd really like to go out there and have a look at that and see what's on it. Well, I actually had to buy it to do that. Well, we actually took it over just at the in summer 2019. Was when we first officially got the keys. Yeah? Actually, there was part of me that went, yes! Oh Christ, what have I done? I mean, the first thing we had to concentrate on was that the planning permission had been issued for the island, but it was there is, like most planning permissions, there was a condition that we had to start the work within 3 years of the planning permission being issued. So in this particular case, we took over in August 2019. The planning permission was, or the 3-year condition was going to expire in April 2020. So the whole rush initially was to then map out with Plymouth City Council and Historic England and Natural England how we could make what was called a substantial start. So we threw everything at that, and we came up with an agreement. We agreed with everybody what we were going to do to make that happen, and so that everyone could sign it off. Well, if from what you may remember, in 2020 was the first lockdowns of the pandemic.
It has been underutilised, and it was good to see the Antiques Roadshow there a couple of years ago. So look, there's an island of 900 years of human history. It started out with St Michael's Chapel. It's 6.5 acres. It's fantastic to see these new uses coming forward, and it has been the jewel in the crown, but it's been very much unexplored, and I'm really glad now that it's going to be, you know, there's a set of initiatives over there to attract people across, and then hopefully we'll get a hotel or two over there in the longer term future.
Anyway, we did get it open, and slowly but surely, as we're coming out of the pandemic, or have come out of the pandemic, we're opening it up more and more, and there's events going on the island now. There's, you know, tours going on out there, and picnics, you know, all sorts of things.
We work very closely with Morgan and the team already, and we help to promote their offering with the trips and the guided tours. We've also been working with them to help promote the island as a slightly more quirky sort of conference or meetings venue going forward. I think the island has great potential in the future, and it's going to be brilliant to see further investment to really maximise the opportunities around it. Again, it's not just for visitors. It could be for people studying here, or it can be for our local community to make it more accessible, because it's an absolutely fascinating place.
We've actually initiated our own programme with the Plymouth Academy schools, whereby there's multiple projects there. What we did last year, we had over 300 students coming out from those schools, and we're building into that the tour, or the time they're on the island. They get half a day on the island, and their teachers will then either build into their curriculum so they can learn about nature, they can learn about history, they can learn about the environment.
It's a fantastic view from there. It's absolutely wonderful sort of panorama, and I'm absolutely delighted that we're going to have so many, not just visitors, but Plymouth residents able to visit there for so many reasons this summer. 50 years ago, you know, we owned it, and we had it as a training venue, and that fizzled out. And I'm just really pleased that we've got a really active programme of events and initiatives happening over there, and it's, as I say, it's the jewel in the crown really, panoramically for Plymouth, and it's got 900 years of history. So we're absolutely delighted that we're working with people that have brought energy and purpose back to Drake's Island.
There's 2 hotels on the island. We're going to create a wedding venue on the island. We're going to create a mindfulness centre on the island where people can just go and sit and be part of nature or recuperate. We're going to work with the National Marine Aquarium for education. We're working with Plymouth University to create a power generation station on the back of the island where they can test new environmentally friendly technologies like wave power or wave action or tidal race turbines. One of the things we want to do is create disabled access to the island. And we've got part of that, but unfortunately the current access to the island is through the old Tudor gateway, which is quite steep, uneven steps. Yeah, so we can't get wheelchairs up there or things at the moment. But when you think about the island, when it was constructed by the British Army Royal Engineers for the Royal Artillery to get shells around. So once you're on top of the island, everything is slopes, because they were running trolleys around with heavy shells on and things like that. So at the back of where the boathouse is currently, the boathouse is going to go, yeah, and there is a sheer wall with an A-frame on top of it where they used to lift things up, and we can put 2 big lift shafts in there. So if we can replace the jetty system with a floating pontoon system, so when the boat comes out from the Barbican or wherever you get on it, you come up to the floating pontoon, it will always be at the same level as the boat, so you better get a wheelchair on and off, onto the floating pontoon, cantilever bridge type system so it goes up and down with the tide, through onto where the boathouse is now, where there will be a new building, reception building, at the back of which will be the 2 lift shafts which will take you up to the top of the island, and once you're up there it's all slopes. What a project to be involved in. I mean, it wasn't something I ever imagined I would be operating or be involved in the restoration of Drake's Island, but the opportunity presented itself, and I really didn't quite believe it until the solicitors rang me and said, "We've completed. You now own an island." But what absolute legacy project to be involved in, something that you're bringing back to life and making part of the city of Plymouth, which is what it is.